Hello and welcome to Dave's Delightful Dishes. As always, I'm Dave and it is such a delight to have you here visiting me in my kitchen. And today, we're going to do breakfast for dinner. Let's check it out. So I've gotten several emails from people and different messages for different challenges. And one of the things that came up was Molly in Indonesia asked me to do something with chicken. And the internationality of this is super cool too. And Pepe from Korea asked me about my kitchen gadgets and wanted me to show some more of my kitchen gadgets. And oh, you have no idea how many I have. But today we're going to do a chicken and waffles. And instead of cooking the chicken, instead of deep frying the chicken tenders, which I would normally do, we're going to do a slightly more healthy version. And we are going to use an air fryer. So we're going to need to take a very, very small amount of ingredients, and this also happens really, really quickly. Breakfast is supposed to be quick, and if you're doing breakfast for dinner, it's going to be quick. So we need to make waffle mix, we need to bread our chicken, and then we use a couple of kitchen gadgets to cook them up. It's not going to take a lot of time, but let's get into it. The first thing we need to do is we need to get our ingredients together, which are these. And we're going to start off by making our waffle mix. So this is as simple. In this case, I'm using a pre-made waffle mix. This one's keto friendly, but you can use any type you like, any type you see in the store. Now, if you don't have access to pancake or waffle mix at your stores, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll give you a recipe for a flour-based one. But most people, I think, have an access to some variety of this, whether it's from Pro Milling Company or whoever else. So I've got a cup of this, 3/4 of a cup of water, and 1 tablespoon of oil. And I've always liked, for mixing, I've always liked chopsticks. They seem to mix really well. And they don't get hung up like a whisk does. And get around to all the edges and really get this stuff mixed in together. And you can see it should be running. It shouldn't be so thick that it doesn't that you can't stir it, but it shouldn't be too thin either. And that has come together. You see it's starting to thicken up. And then that's ready. You can set that aside. And if you're doing this when you're doing it, you kind of get all the ingredients ready and then everything goes all at once. For ease of filming, I'm going to do the waffles and then I'm going to do the chicken. But when you're doing this together, you're kind of going to be having one hand doing each. Once things get going, you're pretty much just letting the machines run. So let's head over to the waffle maker and we're going to check it out. Okay, so I've got my waffle maker set up and my ready light is on, meaning that it's hot enough. I've got it set at about 50% heat, but you can adjust that to your own preference. And it's steaming a little bit, and I always can put it away with a little bit of the cooking spray on it, just to kind of keep it clean. Keep it clean, and that way I don't have to spray as much. But I'm going to put a little bit of cooking spray on the bottom, a little bit of cooking spray on the top. This is enough for 2 of these waffles, so I'm going to pour right into the middle. Just a touch more, because this is going to increase in size. So we lock this down, and every waffle maker that you might find is going to be a little bit different. And then that light's going to turn off as it starts cooking, and then it'll kick back on again once it's ready. So this is going to take, just a couple of minutes, 2 or 3. You can always flip it over after a couple of minutes and open it up and just have a look, see how things are going. But about 3, maybe 4 minutes, depending on your recipe, your thickness, and your machine. See how that light is now turned off, and when it turns back on, it should be ready to go. All right, the ready light is kicked back on, so this is almost done. And I want to take this opportunity to say, hey, if you're new here, why don't you check out the like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think of it, and maybe go down to the comments and let me know what you think about this recipe at the end of it. And we're going to give this a little quick look. So I rotate, I lift. It's starting to brown. And oh, looks like I could have put just a little bit more in. But I would rather have not enough waffle than having it all over my kitchen counter. So you can kind of play around with how much goes into your individual machine. But I'm going to give this another 30 seconds. All right, that's browned up enough. It looks good. What I like to do is I get underneath it with a fork and just bring it down to a plate. And now I'm going to make the other one. Once this is done, I'll get back to you for the next step. Okay, so now it's time to make our breaded chicken to be able to cook that. So I start off with a blue egg. Oh, you don't have blue eggs? Well, that's because this is from my chickens. I've got one chicken that actually lays blue eggs. So I got to crack these 2 eggs. And if you can't get farm fresh ones like mine, no problem. They've got them in the store. Yeah, and that's my bucket to give the shells back to the chickens. And I'm going to use a whisk here just for ease. And this is what I'm going to use to stick the breading onto the chicken. Now I'm going to take that and about 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. These are Italian style, but it can be any type of breadcrumbs you can find because I'm going to use my own seasonings, or in this case, a chicken, like a spicy chicken rub that I got at my local market. I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons of that in with it. And I have, in this case, chicken tenders. This is white meat, but they're already in chicken finger sizes. I'm going to take these, and normally you would take the egg mixture and this, and you'd have 2 dredge bins, and you can like dip it in the eggs and then dip it in here. But I got a faster way. I got a plastic bag. First thing I got to do is I got to put the chicken, without getting all chickeny, get in there. I got that chicken in the egg mixture. I now have my breading. It goes in the plastic bag. And if you don't have a chicken rub, you can use like some chili powder and some paprika, maybe some garlic powder, just something to give it a little extra flavor to those breadcrumbs. And in this case, heat, because I kind of want heat. And now that's all mixed in, I'm going to take another chopstick just to get. I'm stirring this chicken around to make sure it gets egg all over it. And here's the part where it gets a little bit gross, and I am out of rubber gloves. So I'm just going to get a dirty hand right now, but it's still better than dredging. I'm going to put all these eggy chicken bits in here. And you can do this a little bit at a time as you need to. And, you can be less messy or more messy. I'm being a little bit more messy than I normally am at the moment. Well, whatever. It's fun. And 1 egg, 2 egg, it kind of depends on how many chicken fingers you get. Looks like I could have gotten away with a single egg. But again, if your eggs are smaller, then you definitely need 2. And I'd rather have too much of that rather than not enough. So, I'm going to wash my hands real quick here. I'll be right back with you. Okay, now that I'm slightly less gross, let's seal this container. And now you shake the heck out of everything. Really get some good coverage. And quite frankly, it's fun. All right, now that that's all covered up with all these chicken bits are covered really, really well with breading, we're ready to head over to the air fryer. So every air fryer is slightly different, and I guess you can say hello to my dog over there. She's looking around because she can definitely smell the chicken. This one I got several years ago, and it's just look for one with a nice basket and with lots of adjustable settings. I wouldn't spend too much on these because this is basically a small convection oven. So I have a convection oven in my oven, but this is a little more convenient rather than setting up my whole oven for it. I'm going to take these chicken tenders, and I'm not going to crowd the pan. And I've given a spritz of oil already inside the basket to start. So there's a little bit of oil in a mister in the basket. Now I got to go grab my mister. There's 5 pieces there. And now I'm going to mist these all again with oil. And then this basket goes in. And I'm going to set, let me adjust this so you can see it a little bit better. We are going to turn the temperature up to 400 degrees. And we're going to set the timer to 6 minutes. And then we'll hit start. And this is going to go for 6 minutes, and then we're going to take it out, and we're going to take the basket out, and we're going to flip them. All right, 6 minutes have elapsed, and our chicken is halfway there, as you can see. So we have to give it a quick flip, and try to do that gently so you don't break up the breading. And as you know, it's always a little bit harder when you're being filmed doing it. Personally, I love the deep frying method, but this is just so much healthier for you. Now I'm going to give it another mist of oil. And now this is going to go back in. And we're going to set this for another 5 minutes. All right, 12 minutes later, and as you can see, these are well crispy and they're cooked. Now you want to check them to make sure, like, sacrifice one of them, cut it open just to make sure they're done all the way, because everyone's system is a little bit different. What's 12 minutes for me might be longer for you, depending on how powerful your machine is and lots of other variables. So just don't eat raw chicken. Make sure they're done. But these smell great, they look great, and we're ready to head back over to the workstation to do final preparation. Okay, so you can take this chicken and you can put it right on this waffle right now, and all you gotta do is add some syrup, and you got a pretty good meal. Maybe even a little powdered sugar on top. But for me, I like it even hotter. So I have here, I've got about 1/3 of a cup for this number of wings, but you adjust it based, or this number of tenders. You adjust it based on how much chicken you have. This is like an over-the-counter, got it from my local market, but it's a wing sauce. This happens to be a hot honey wing sauce. So I'm going to toss these guys in this sauce. So I'm going to put in the right amount for this. Give it a toss. I like using a big bowl for this, so that way it doesn't your whole counter doesn't get messy. And now that those are dripping like that, oh, look at that. That goes on. Here's the second one. Perfect. One more for good measure. 3 tenders and a waffle, that's a pretty good dinner. And then, since we decided to bake these, so we're saving a little bit of energy, let's take some of this maple syrup and just give it a little drizzle. Now you can serve this with a side of breakfast potatoes. You can serve this with French fries. You could serve it all by itself. Any which way you like it, this is pretty good eating. And look at it. Isn't it delightful? Now, I hope you try this at home because it's really good and definitely worth it. And this really takes almost no time at all. I mean, it was a little bit of preparation, but that's minutes. I mean, you could have this thing on the table for everybody in probably less than 30. And that's a pretty good meal for anybody. As far as time frame, ease of use, there's hardly any ingredients. You should give this a try. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below, as well as letting me know what kind of challenges you'd like me to try next. If you haven't checked it out already, my Facebook page for Dave's Delightful Dishes will be linked in the description, as well as my Instagram, where you can see pictures of stuff that might not have made it to the show as of yet, but you can see different meals that I'm cooking, and it might give you ideas for things you'd like me to show you how to make. And you can also go on my Facebook page to the Spreadshirt link, where you can get my merchandise, which includes aprons and coffee mugs and all other kinds of stuff. Check it out. There might be something that you like. But until then, well, my friends, I'll see you at the next recipe.